But now, speaking of the Commonwealth Bank, another bumper profit is expected when it reports on Wednesday, but a storm is brewing around its subsidiary, Bankwest. A Perth property developer claims the bank wrongly appointed receivers to a $500 million project. And now Bankwest is also facing the prospect of a parliamentary inquiry and a class action. Neil Woolrich reports.
It's shaping up as one of Australia's biggest office blocks. But for Perth property developer Luke Saraceni, the $500 million Rain Square project has turned into a legal nightmare.
It certainly is a kick in the guts. The bank should never have taken over the project anyway. There was no prospect that they would not get all of their money back.
In January last year, Bankwest appointed receivers to the project after one of Luke Saraceni's companies missed a $50 million debt repayment. Mr Saraceni argues the appointment was invalid and he's since been battling Bankwest in the Supreme Court.
I've never had trouble delivering what I've said that we were going to deliver because we've had total cooperation when we enter into those sort of projects. The same cannot be said for the experience that we had with Bankwest.
The litigation funder, IMF, which is bankrolling Luke Saraceni's case, says Bankwest had good relationships with hundreds of developers, but that changed when the Commonwealth Bank took over Bankwest in December 2008. IMF is now considering a class action on behalf of 80 other former Bankwest customers.
When the purchase occurred, virtually all of those developers were effectively audited. Many of them ended up with receivers appointed, property sold, people in bankruptcy, companies in liquidation, on what was really a grand scale.
Hugh McLernon says a Senate inquiry is needed to see if those actions were justified. In a statement to the ABC, Bankwest says it strongly denies the allegations made. Due to the GFC and the broader economic environment, property values and property development in general suffered between 2008 and 2011, and Bankwest assisted many customers through this period and continues to do so. And it says the bank worked with Mr Saraceni over a number of years to resolve his financial issues prior to taking action. However, concerns about the banking industry more broadly are leading National Senator John Williams to push for an inquiry into receivership practices.
The Reserve Bank is also coming under scrutiny over whether it propped up Bankwest in late 2008. Accounts lodged with the prudential regulator, APRA, show that Bankwest had $3.8 billion owing to either the RBA or other financial institutions. IMF's Hugh McLernon says it's in the public interest to find out who was supporting the teetering bank.
If it is taxpayer money, then I think the taxpayers are smart enough to look back at history and see whether it was properly done or not.
While it may take some time to prise that information out of the RBA, Luke Saraceni is expected to get a decision in his court case within months.
To this point, I believe I've lost in excess of $200 million in terms of personal net wealth. So the devastating impact on my ability to run the business that I actually run.
Even if he does win, though, the damage to his reputation may take many years to repair.